Because, okay, Jackie's crazy. She can't be held accountable for her actions.
At least not a lot of them.
Yeah. Marty is extremely conflicted, and although sleeping with his sister is wrong, I still feel like that's part of his nature somewhat. So I don't really... It's bad, but it's not horrible that he did it again. Anthony is just an idiot, frankly. His sister suggested the idea of him sleeping with Leslie, and so he sleeps with Leslie. The mother had grown too complacent with the situation to begin with. I mean, I think she was aware on some level that her siblings were sleeping together, and yet she continued to do nothing about it. But Leslie was a normal person. I mean, who just got thrust into this whole situation. She, of all people, should have known better than to do something stupid like sleep with Marty's brother. Even if she was shocked that Marty was sleeping with his sister. So that's why I think that she kind of is the worst person in the movie.
I agree with that to the extent if it wasn't for the mom. I think the mom is the worst person in the movie. And I will explain that. This is her house, right? She knows everything that's going on. She even says it herself. A mother doesn't spy. A mother pays attention. So if you were paying attention, then you know that your daughter and son have slept with each other, and that your other son has slept with your other son's fiance, and now you just expect her to leave. You expect Leslie to leave and allow for Marty and Jackie to continue their unacceptable relationship under your roof.
Yeah, but I
be
think...
okay with it because they need each other. So
Yeah.
Marty needs to stay so he can be with Jackie, so she can stay sane because you love her.
Well, I think that the mother just had grown too complacent with the situation, and that family meant that weird, bizarre thing that her family had become.
See, the thing is about the mom, for me, she's definitely sophisticated. She's smart.
Yeah.
And you can assume that she's educated because they're rich, and I'm pretty sure she went to all the best schools or whatever.
Well,
But-
okay. I have another argument for why I think Leslie is a worse character. Or a worse person. Leslie seemed like a nice girl. Frankly, probably the nicest person in the house. The mother we knew was a bitch already, so her doing bad things wasn't really that surprising. But Leslie, who, for all intents and purposes, was a good person, doing something so bad made her the worst character. She lowered herself where all the other characters pretty much stayed at the same level. I mean, even though the revelations happened, none of them were too
But
surprising.
Look at the surroundings, her environment. It was just like,
Yeah.
it was way too much for someone like that to even comprehend what's going on. I mean, she
Oh,
went-
so we'll sleep with Marty's brother.
well, like she said, she had a moment of weakness. She's only human. And
Yeah, but...
Anthony was just looking for a piece of ass. Even though he's a dupe, he was actually manipulating her.
to a degree,
To
as
a
much as he
degree.
could. But I kind of think we've said as much as we can without just starting to do circular logic about that whole issue.
Okay, regardless of who's the worst person, every character had problems.
Yeah.
Every character was interesting because of their problems, and they had so much depth. It's like, what the fuck else is wrong with this guy? Or what's wrong with this girl? And it's like, also, when you're watching the movie, it's like, how much can Leslie take of this
Yeah.
before she snaps and she takes the gun and she shoots Jackie?
I never thought that was going to happen. Did you think that was a possibility?
I didn't, like I said,
Well, no,
I didn't
I'm
know what to
serious.
expect.
Did you, when you were watching the movie, did you consider that as a possible outcome?
Yeah, because the gun was just out in the open.
Yeah, true.
The gun was out in the open. The characters weren't sure if it was loaded or not. I mean, Marty said that it wasn't, but I don't trust Jackie and I don't trust the mom. So either one of them could have had the gun loaded because
Or a bullet somewhere easily accessible.
yeah, or a bullet somewhere. I mean, if the gun was loaded, the mother wouldn't mind because she probably would shoot Leslie and she would be fine with that because that would mean Marty wouldn't have to leave and he could just stay there.
You think the mother would have been fine with Jackie shooting Leslie? I think the mother did everything within her power to keep Jackie from shooting Leslie. I mean, in her own way.
No, I think she did everything in her power to keep Jackie from shooting Marty.
No. I think she was trying to keep... I mean, if she was fine with Jackie shooting Leslie, then she would never have convinced Leslie to leave in the morning. I mean, she practically said as much, that, you know, you're lucky, Leslie, you're lucky Jackie hasn't killed you already, and if you continue to stay here, chances are good that it's gonna happen. So I think the mother was definitely doing everything she could to get Leslie out of that house alive.
I think it was more concern of her just leaving so Marty could just stay, because to her she had no purpose to exist in the house. So the concern of the mother wasn't Leslie's life, it was just Leslie's existence. If she's not there, if she's out of the picture, then Marty could stay.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Alright?
Well, we're at the end, which is the end of the movie, so the last thing to talk about is what do you think happened when that gunshot happened?
Yeah, when the gunshot happened, when it faded out, it's a possibility that Jackie shot Marty. I think that's part of all the lack of understanding that we have of what's going on. Because everything that's being referred to already happened.
Yeah.
Such as father leaving, whether he left or did the mom kill him? Is he buried in the back? When Leslie ran out of the house, I thought Jackie shot Marty, for sure. I think Jackie snapped again.
But I'll bring up another possibility. They played that game again. The game they played when they first had sex, the game they played again that night when they had sex. Maybe it was a blank. Maybe there was no bullet and that sound effect was erroneous. Maybe there was a bullet and she missed on purpose. And they continued where that game goes and they kissed again. Because if Leslie walked back into that room and saw them kissing, she would have ran out of that house.
Yeah.
Exactly like we saw. I'm not sure what happened. I think that's part of the appeal of the movie. Or I'm going to say that I'm sure everything happened. That in my mind, I can see all the conceivable outcomes of whether, you know, Marty was killed, if there was a bullet, if there was a miss, what happened after, and that makes the movie so much stronger for that, in my mind.
Yeah. To leave a mystery like that keeps you thinking about the movie, and that's definitely effective. The movie was entertaining. It was effective. It kept you interested. The characters were engaging. They didn't lack depth. They felt real. It was an amazing movie.
Yep. I think that's good enough for our final thoughts too, if you want to just end it now.
Yeah, you can exit us out.
See you, YouTube.